Baldwin, he's teaching upstairs and doing Spanish. Now, I'm not the official welcoming committee. I'm the unofficial welcoming committee, but I couldn't think of a better song that Mrs. A chose for tonight. So hopefully all of you consider yourselves at home, that you've eaten. The bars are open. We have fabulous bartenders from the class of 2012. Gentlemen, please wave. And we have incredible auction items out in the hallway. So please bid high, bid often, and the auctions will close 5 minutes after the second act begins. As you can imagine, it takes an army to pull an intimate gathering of 225 of your closest friends together. And right now, we have raised over $16,000 just by you guys making Our goal tonight is $30,000, and so that comes from the auction items, the wishing wall, and anybody that wants to give a check to Dr. O'Brien, who's standing in a beautiful tuxedo donated by Ferry's Formal Wear. So call him. There are so many people to thank, and I am afraid that I am going to forget somebody specific. Obviously, our principal, Keontae Jones, who is the backbone of our school and supported us doing this evening. So thank you, Mr. Jones. Our fabulous development team, which is Paul O'Brien, Karen Drago, Megan Salavantis, Jerry Ryan, and myself, and particularly our spouses, who I'm sure all got an earful every night after we had a development meeting. We had an army of people last night setting up the tables, the football team and the baseball team, which physically moved the equipment, and then the Bouchards, the Carols, the Goshes, the Dykmans. All of these people came in and made tonight possible, everything possible to honor what Mrs. Anchukaitis has brought to the classroom and to our children's lives, not only with Spanish, but with Spanish trips and certainly on the stage. So enjoy the show. Please feast, eat, drink, be merry, and get out there and bid on auctions and have a great time. Thank you for coming. I forgot to introduce our MCs of this evening. Please forgive me. We have 2 alumni coming back to MC and give us some beautiful anecdotes about their time on the stage. So please welcome Adam and Brenna.
Welcome.
Muy bienvenidos.
We hope you'll consider yourself at home this evening. Evening of the Stars 2 is so vibrant, so melodious, so lit, at least that's what my middle school students call it, that this time around we needed not 1 but 2 hosts for our star-studded evening. I'm joined by my fantastic co-host, Brenna Casey, class of 2001, in from Durham, North Carolina, where she was recently ranked one of the top 10 professors at Duke University.
And I am so pleased to join my top-notch veteran MC, Adam Weatherwax, class of 2005, who made the trek from Boston, where he is an exceptional middle school math teacher and, incidentally, directs the school musicals.
We are both so pleased to be here with you tonight to celebrate the legacy of Melanie Anchukaitis, who will from this point on be referred to in a rotating litany of names that include
Mrs. Anchukaitis, Senora Anchukaitis, Mrs. A, Senora A, and
Mom.
Melanie?
At Gibbons, we both took Spanish 5 with Mrs. A.
We both took our very first international trips to Spain with Mrs. A.
We both acted in musicals with Mrs. A.
And we both led our very hip high school mock trial team to the state competition with Mrs. A.
Since then,
we both attended Boston College.
We both got some extra diplomas, me a master's in education from BC, Brenna an MFA from Notre Dame, and a PhD from Duke.
We both became educators.
So basically what we're trying to say is
Mrs. Anchukaitis, who is the reason for tonight's season,
changed our whole lives.
Thank you, all of you, for being with us tonight to celebrate her.
We have 20 returning alumni coming to us from New York, New Jersey, DC, and Rochester. A current student, 3 alumni parents, a faculty member, and the legend that is Mike Purcell, our music director. And we're all here to celebrate Mrs. A, who directed 21 musicals over the course of her storied career.
21?
21!
The thought of that makes me exhausted, and I'm gonna go take a break.
Why did we need that extra co-host? Anyway, we opened our show tonight by reaching back to 1997 for an appropriate ensemble number, Consider Yourself, from Lionel Bart's Oliver. In context, this is the song where the Artful Dodger, played on our stage back then by a charismatic Rory Gilday, welcomes the frightened, homeless title orphan into Fagin's family of juvenile pickpockets. Oliver marked the beginning of a complication to all of our future productions, when at auditions, the directors were faced with equally talented performers and decided to double cast the roles, with each student playing 2 of the 4 performances in our annual run. Double casting meant double rehearsals and double costuming, a reality that Mr. McGuire hated. But Mrs. A and Mrs. Neidl advocated for it then and did so in many shows that follow. The tradition allowed a fair and exciting way to give double exposure to stardom for many students in our small school. The role of Oliver was shared by 8th graders Matt Howe and Brendan Martin, while the role of the ill-fated and kind-hearted Nancy was shared by Sandy Klose and Melissa Brown. We continue with Oliver tonight as Sandy returns to our stage to sing As Long as He Needs Me, a dark song of her loyalty to the evil Bill Sykes.
As long as he needs me, oh yes he does need me, in spite of what you see, I'm sure that he needs me. Who else would love him still when they've been used so ill? He knows I always will. as long as he needs me. I miss him so much when he's gone, but when he's near me, I don't let on the way I feel inside, the love I have to hide, the hell I've got, my bride, as long as he needs me. He doesn't say the things he should. He acts the way he thinks he should. But all the same, I'll play this game his way. As long as he needs me, I know where I must be. I'll cling on steadfastly, as long as he needs me, as long as life is long. I'll love him right or wrong, and somehow I'll be strong, as long as he needs me. If you are lonely, then you would know when someone needs you, you love them so. I won't betray his trust. Though people say I must, I've got to stay true, just as long as he
Hi again. Rodgers and Hammerstein's Oklahoma is one, I can't see anything at all, it's really good. We're going to bring the phones out here next time, I think. Rodgers and Hammerstein's Oklahoma is one of the shows we have done twice, 1998 and 2015. The 1998 production starred John Sozak as Curly, opposite Arlene Webster as Lori, and Jess Michael as Aunt Eller. I was cast as Ado Annie, the girl who couldn't say no, which kicked off a slew of roles in which Tom McGuire delighted in casting me as the nasal voice, but ultimately charming Floozy for years to come. That 1998 production involved borrowing a 2-story house and porch, which was then precariously transported from Burnt Hills High School down the Northway by our then custodian Jim Collins and moved to our stage by a miracle. 17 years later, NDBG built its own house, porch, and barn, and prairie to star Dan Jameson as Curly, opposite double cast Natasha Sookrah and Theresa Strichman's Lori. Christian Decker was Will Parker, opposite double cast Kelsey Roberts and Grace Hamilton as Ado Annie. Tonight, we mix casts from the two shows as Jess and Chistian reprise their 1998 and 2015 roles respectively. They are joined by Giordano, who played Gertie Cummins, Stephen Methe, who played Andrew Carnes, and Theresa Strichman, who, of course, played Laurie in 2015.
I got to Kansas City on a Friday. A Saturday I learned a thing or two. But up to then I didn't have an idea of what the modern world was coming to. I counted 20 gas buggies going by themselves almost every time I took a walk. And I put my ear to a bell telephone, and a strange woman started in to talk.
Yeah, what?
What next? Everything's up to date in Kansas City. They've gone about as far as they can go. They went and built a skyscraper 7 stories high, as about the size of building on a row. Everything's like a dream in Kansas City. It's better than a Magic Lantern show. You can turn the radiator on whenever you want some heat. With every kind of comfort, every house is all complete. You can walk the prairies in the rain and never wet your feet. They've gone about as far as they can go. They've gone about as far as they can go. Everything's up to date in Kansas City. They've gone about as far as they can go. They got a big theater that they call the Burlingame. For 50 cents you can see a dandy show. One of the girls was fat and pink and pretty, as round above as she was round below. I could swear that she was patty from her shoulder to her heel. But later in the second act, she began to feel. She proved that everything she had was absolutely real. She went about as far as she should go. She went about as far as she can go. Oh, the farmer and the cowman should be friends. Oh, the farmer and the cowman should be friends. One man likes to push a plow, the other likes to chase a cow. Well, that's no reason why they can't be friends. Territory folks should stick together. Territory folks should all be pals. Cowboys dance with the farmers' daughters. Farmers dance with the ranchers' sons. Territory folks should stick together. Territory folks should all be pals. Cowboys dance with the farmers' daughters. Farmers dance with the ranchers' sons. I like to say a word for the farmer.
Well, say it.
He come out west and made a lot of changes. He come out west and built a lot of fences, and built them right across our cattle ranges. The farmer is a good and thrifty citizen. No matter what the cowman says or thinks, you'll never see him drinking in a bar room, unless somebody else is buying drinks. But the farmer and the cowman should be friends. Oh, the farmer and the cowman should be friends. The cowman ropes a cow with bees. The farmer steals her butter and cheese. But that's no reason why they can't be friends. Territory folks should stick together. Territory folks should all be pals. Cowboys dance with the farmers' daughters. Farmers dance with the ranchers' sons.
I'd like to say a word for the cowboy.
Oh, you would.
The ruby treads the sleep of old and stony. He rides for days on end with just a pony for a friend. And
something for that second co-host. We tried to be pretty brazen and do it in 12-point font, single space, and that was a mistake. So, teamwork. Next up, Rodgers and Hammerstein's rendition of the classic fairy tale, Cinderella, who is abused by her evil stepmother and stepsisters, but never loses her sweet disposition. She's destined to find her prince. Cinderella first came to our stage in 2011 and was sold out, with dozens of children leaving their seats to come sit on the floor close to the stage to watch the magic. That's cute. Caroline Bouchard and Genevieve Hudson shared the title role to John Paul Ryan's Prince and Brittany Lawton's fairy godmother, both of whom are working the bar tonight. That's also cute. Cinderella brought Mrs. A's costuming challenge to new heights. In an era of audiences used to extraordinary special effects of the movies, how would we stage the transformation scene when, with a flick of the wand, Cinderella's poor, tattered dress becomes the glittery ball gown? Mrs. A researched the internet, watched a particularly clever effect in slow motion over and over again, and then took the video to the costumer, who apparently had never seen this particular trick, and worked with them to design a double cast dress that turned inside out as Cinderella twirled. How satisfying it was 6 years later when we reprised the show to star Natasha Sookrah that the costumer and the costume were ready for us. Tonight, Natasha is reunited with her prince, NDBG Junior Noah Decker, to sing Do I Love You. Oh, and don't forget to tip your bartenders.
So did I, and I think you're very beautiful tonight.
Oh, my dreams are coming true.
My dreams are coming true, too. I think I'm falling in love with you. Do I love you because you're beautiful? Or are you beautiful because I love you? Am I making believe I see in you a girl too lovely to be really true? Do I want you because you're wonderful? Or are you wonderful because I want you? Are you the sweet invention of a lover's dream? Or are you really as beautiful as you seem?
Am I making believe I see in you a man too perfect to really be true? Do I want you because you're wonderful? Or are you wonderful because I want you?
Are you the sweet invention of a lover's dream? Or are you really as wonderful as you seem?
Anything Goes and Guys and Dolls have shared the distinction of having been produced 3 times in NDBG history, twice each with Mrs. A. In 1996, after our dark years, Anything Goes was Tom McGuire's pick for the revival of our theater program. That show represents the first collaboration of McGuire, Anchukaitis, Neidl, and Purcell. Tonight we are pleased to reunite many principals from the 2013 production in 4 numbers from this zany comedy set up on a ship involving stowaways, gangsters, and romance between unlikely lovers. Perrie Rose Megyeri and Dillon Strichman reprised their respective roles as socialite Hope Harcourt and stowaway Billy Crocker, falling in love as they sing Cole Porter's wonderful DeLovely. Following them, Brian Kanai will reprise his Sir Evelyn, a stuffy Englishman beguiled by a seductive lounge singer, stepping out of character in Let's Misbehave. Rebecca Scorzella, who tapped her way into our hearts in many productions and even choreographed shows with Mrs. A, returns tonight as Bonnie, the gangster's ditzy girlfriend in Heaven Hop, while Stephen Baldwin, the lovable public enemy number 1, is joined by siblings Tara and Dillon Strichman in the delightful Friendship.
Like to go walking, dear, it's delightful, it's delicious, it's DeLovely. I understand the reason why you're sentimental, 'cause so am I. It's delightful, it's delicious, it's DeLovely. You can tell at a glance what a swell night this is for romance. You can hear dear Mother Nature murmuring, oh, let yourself go, so please be sweet, my chickadee. And when I kiss you, just say to me, it's divine, dear, it's divine, dear, it's the wunderbar, it's delirious, it's the dilemma, it's the limit, it's the what's, it's the lovely.
I feel a sudden urge to sing a kind of ditty that invokes the spring. So control your desire to curse while I crucify the verse. This verse I've started seems to me the timpan's antithesis of melody. So to spare you all the pain, I'll skip the darn thing and sing the refrain. Me, ray, 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 do, so, mi, do, la, si. The night is young, the skies are clear, and if you'd like to go walking, dear, it's delightful, it's delicious, it's lovely. I understand the reason why you're sentimental, 'cause so am I. It's delightful, it's delicious, it's lovely. You can
Tell at a glance what a swell night this is for romance. You can hear dear
savoir-faire. It's getting late, and while I wait, my poor heart aches on. Why keep the brakes on? Let's misbehave. Feel quite sure a pair more would be attractive. While we're still active, let's misbehave. You know heart is true, and you say you for me care. Someone is sure to tell, but what the hell do we care? They say that birds have love affairs and even camels. We're merely mammals. Let's misbehave. We're all alone, no chaperone can get our number. The world's in slumber. Let's misbehave. There's something wild about you, child, that's so contagious. That's simply outrageous. Let's misbehave. When Adam won Eve's hand, he wouldn't stand for teasing. He didn't care, although the fruit was out of season. They say that bears have love affairs and even camels. We're merely mammals. Let's misbehave. Let's misbehave. Let's misbehave.
Do you want to know how to get to heaven? Well, I have a few shortcuts. Up in heaven's happy portal, where the party never stops, all the debonair immortals do a dance called the heaven hop. In this big celestial center, it's the only dance they do. So before you try to enter, you better start doing it too. Spread your wings and start them flapping.
If they ever black your eyes, put me wide.
If they ever took your goose, join me loose.
Well, if they ever put a bullet through your brain, I'll proclaim that friendship, just a worthless friendship.
When other friendships have been forget, I will still be it.
Wait! Remember,
Man's best friend is his, man's best friend is his, man's best friend is his friend.
Before we go on to our next number, we have a quick announcement. We have 2 cars blocking the garage doors that need to be moved immediately. One is a Mazda CX-5, New York plates, JB, C or L, unclear from this handwritten note, 6091. The second is a Hyundai Santa Fe, New York plate, GLZ 8970. If you were the owner of either of those vehicles, if you could move them to the back parking area, we would be most appreciative.
Continuing on with our program tonight, in 2004, NDBG brought My Fair Lady to our stage, starring stunning sophomore Kim Hawkey as Eliza Doolittle, opposite the talented 9th grader Jonathan Wood as Henry Higgins. I was lucky to be a part of that show as Colonel Pickering. I'll always remember that night when Eliza throws the shoes at Henry Higgins, and Eliza threw the shoes, and Kim hit Jonathan right in the head. That year, Mrs. A coached me through a passable English accent. No, I'm not doing it, Brenna already asked. And a fake mustache. It never stayed on, though, when I was pretending to be a bull during the rain in Spain and running through Jonathan's red handkerchief. This show is my personal favorite memory of my time here at NDBG, and tonight, Kim Hawkey, professional singer and lyricist, specializing in jazz and American music, returns to Broadway to recreate the role of the Cockney flower seller Eliza Doolittle, fantasizing about an easier life in Rodgers and Hammerstein's famed Wouldn't It Be Loverly?
Till spring crept over the windowsill, someone's head resting on my knee, warm and tender as he can be, who takes good care of me. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely, 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 lovely?
You could just put that there. Not so easy being Vanna White, I guess. In 1986, the spring musical moved to the fall to avoid conflict over gym time with the many girls and boys varsity, JV, and modified basketball teams. Don't worry, we weren't bitter. Tom Megyeri determined if we held auditions in June and settled on the casting, we could start rehearsals over the summer months. In June 2000, a bombshell transfer junior from Amsterdam named Theresa Tokarowski beguiled Tom Megyeri and was cast in the role of Thornton Wilder's matchmaker, Dolly Levy. In the fall of 2016, we brought the show to life again, double casting Grace Hamilton and Kelsey Roberts in the title role, and for the first time introduced non-students to the cast, as fathers and teachers became the waiters greeting Dolly as she returned to the Harmonia Gardens. Tonight we bring you the members of the 2016 cast joining Theresa from 2000. First, we enjoy Stephen Methe, who played Horace Vandegelder, Dolly's irascible target for her own match, and Christian Decker, who played a store clerk Barnaby, and Kyle Dykman, who was Ambrose Kemper, suitor to Horace's niece. In the 2000 production, Horace's niece had a really annoying voice and was played by me. Tonight, they are all singing It Takes a Woman. They will be followed by Natasha Sookrah's beautiful voice reprising millinery shop owner Irene Malloy's dreams for a more romantic life in her own Ribbons Down My Back. And finally, Theresa reprises her role in the iconic title number with our alumni fathers, Sam Dykman, father of Kyle, who is performing tonight, and Sam and Aaron, who have been mainstays of our productions, Stephen Decker, father of Christian and Noah, whom you've also met tonight, and Adam Jameson, father of the talented Dan, who could not be with us because he is at a show at Providence College, in a show, I should say. Finally, our own Mr. Rich Harrigan, our IT guy and beloved teacher, round out what Mrs. A affectionately refers to as the men, capital T, capital M.
I am Horace Vandergilder, owner of Vandergilder's Hay and Feed, and the richest half-a-millionaire in all of New York. And I am getting married. Yeah, pretty good. Now it's clear why she would want me. I mean, I'm rich, I'm handsome, I'm ruthless, and I'm mean, which in Yonkers is about as far as you can go. Now, I know what you're asking yourself. Horace, why would a man of such great sense do anything as foolish as getting married to a woman? Well, it's a pretty simple answer. A house without a woman is an empty shell. And it's pretty dirty, too. It takes a woman all powdered in pink to joyously clean out the drain in the sink. And it takes an angel with long golden lashes and soft dressing fingers for dumping the ashes. Yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart, a mistress, a wife. Oh yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life. The frail young maiden was constantly there, for washing and bluing and chewing the mare. And it takes a female for setting the table and waiting the Guernsey and cleaning the stable. Yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart, a mistress, a wife. Oh yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life. And so she'll work until infinity. 3 cheers for femininity. Rah, 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 F-E-M-I-T-Y. With spelling like that, I'm gonna have to take you to Mrs. Nidal. And in the winter, she'll shovel the ice and lovingly set out the traps for the mice. She's a joy and treasure, for practically speaking, to whom can you turn when the plumbing is leaking? Yes, it takes a woman, a friendly woman, a sweetheart, a mistress, a wife. Oh yes, it takes a woman, a husky woman, to bring you the sweet things in life. Oh yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart, a mistress, a wife. Oh yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life.
I've worked in this hat shop for so long. I think it's time for something else, though. I'll be wearing ribbons down my back this summer. Blue and green and streaming in the yellow sky. So if someone special comes my way this summer, he might notice me passing by, and so I'll try to make it easier to find me in the stillness of July, because a breeze might stir a rainbow behind me that might happen to catch the gentleman's eye, and fellas. Dolly, you'll never go away again. I went away from the lights of 14th Street and into my personal haze. But now that I'm back in the lights of 14th Street, tomorrow will be brighter than those good old days.
Adam, that was a lot of numbers. They were so great. How many
They
did
were
we-
amazing. Another round of applause for our performers tonight.
How many songs are we up to now?
I think we're over a dozen.
Here's the thing. We're all getting older. Our eyesight is a little garbager. And I think I need to take another break.
Another break? All right, let's all take a break. Let's get another drink, eat some food. We have about a 20-minute intermission, and we will see you back here in 20 minutes.